Shine bright up all night. We're never slowing down. Fall in love, drunk mistakes. We're bound to hit the ground. Gotta keep this feeling, keep on breathing, even if we're slipping away. So I close my eyes and lose myself now. Do it like it's only today. We got a party for a lifetime. No, we ain't stopping for the sunrise. No, we don't care about the bad nights. And for a second I can feel like this. Make me feel like this. We got a party for a lifetime. No, we ain't stopping for the sunrise. No, we don't care about the bad nights. And for a second I can feel like this. Make me feel like this. Young blood made of gold. A mind you can't control. Running wild, can't come down. My head is in the clouds. Gotta keep this feeling, keep on breathing, even if we're slipping away. So I close my eyes and lose myself now. Do it like it's only today. We got a party for a lifetime. No, we ain't stopping for the sunrise. No, we don't care about the bad nights. And for a second I can feel like this. Make me feel like this. We got a party for a lifetime. No, we ain't stopping for the sunrise. No, we don't care about the bad nights. And for a second I can feel like this. Make me feel like this.
Well, hello everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you. Happy Monday. It's Monday. Today is March 25th, 2024, 5:18 p.m. on the East Coast of the United States. Thank you all for joining me. It's good to see you all. Got a lot to talk about. We are almost at a month for Sebastian Rogers being missing. And people are out, volunteers and search crews are still searching for Sebastian Rogers. Now, I'm muted? I am not muted. Why are you lying? Am I muted? I'm not muted. SL, I'm not muted. Turn up the volume. Turn it up. Turn it up. Turn it up. Okay. Okay. All right. So Sebastian Rogers, we're almost at a month and they are searching frantically. Now, the Proudfoots did an interview with Nancy Grace, and we're going to cover that as well. But there's some things that I want to go over first. Now, as we know, yesterday, the Proudfoots got in their truck and their fifth wheel and their SUV and split the popsicle stand. They left their house and nobody knows. We know that, Mama Shell. Please. We know it. Thank you. Thank you so much. Um, they left and nobody knew where they went. But we do, because we have photos of where they are right now as we speak. We got photos of them in okay, thank you. Thank you for your feedback. I appreciate it. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. So anyway, we're going to show you where they are. And this morning, I can't with the emoji. Right, guidance. Right. All right. So let's get started. We got a lot to talk about. We got a lot to talk about. I need to make sure I blurred their license plates before I start. Okay. So JLR, he was out earlier and they were not being too kind to him. I didn't think that was very, I mean, thank you, Darcy. Thank you so much for gifting a membership. If you received that gift, please thank sweet Darcy. All right. So this was this morning. We're going to show you this. We're going to get to it. Just wait. Nice, expensive fifth wheel. Yes. Very nice. Very, very nice. So JLR posted this morning. Suspicious people at the Proudfoot home, man and woman, they saw me in my car and started chasing me at their vehicle. Man got out to take pics of my license plate. I stopped and got out to ask about Sebastian Rogers, and he jumped in the vehicle and sped away, just reported to TBI. And as you see in this photo, they are in the Proudfoot home. There is a man that's outside, and there is a woman in this photo, and she is looking, right? And we they are family. Yes. Yes. So we wanted to, you know, see what was going on here. And they are currently at, this is photos of just a little bit ago, just a few hours ago. The Proudfoots are at the camp thing that they always go to. So we know exactly where they are. Yep, Dippy, we did. We did. And as you can see, there's an Infinity SUV, and there is the fifth wheel along with Chris's truck, the Yogi Bear. The Yogi Bear. And on Chris's truck, he does have Sebastian stuck, like a flyer. I don't know if it's a flyer or a magnet stuck to the back. So that's good. That's good. Their behavior makes them look guilty. I mean, there's a lot of questions. There's a lot of questions, to say the very least. Oh, Stephanie, that's awesome. Thank you. Um, Justin, they was also rude to Dolly Vision. Also, yeah. I mean, I understand. There's emotions are high in these, you know, types of things that are going on. Um, has Cold Case looked at this yet? Oh, no, no, no. I'm too honest for this. This is way, 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 way too soon for any type of cold case currently. So we got that. And as you can see, the Infinity SUV, they have a thing of a photo flyer on the side of their vehicle. So in Nancy Grace dropped a podcast just a few moments ago. Yeah, there's still a mess of leads coming in. Yeah, yeah. When it is considered a cold case is when the leads stop coming in, and that takes quite a while generally. So does Chris still work in Memphis? That's a good question, because he's saying it's up in the air right now. Oh, cold case funding. No, no, it's still, I would still pretty too early for that. Mountain Melody rather. Sorry. Thank you so much for becoming a member. Welcome to the family, my love. Appreciate you. They weren't out searching because they said law enforcement told them to stay home in case they returned, but yet leave town. Exactly. Yeah, that's true. That is absolutely true. They said that they were staying home. So they're still not looking that I am aware of. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Dolly was told to stay away from the Cajun Navy while they're searching. So, it's a tough thing. It's a tough thing, and I know everyone feels one way or another about this, but both have valid points. Yes, and yeah, and wherever Chris is working, please, if he's working, yeah, please, yeah, leave it alone for sure. But it's a touchy subject because as Americans, we have constitutional rights. Um, and from what I understand, they've asked the public to help, and that's what the public has responded. It kind of feels like that, doesn't it, Sparkling Bubbles? It kind of feels like they're pulling the laundries. Yes. Yeah, Chris and Kate. Yeah. Katie, they sure do. It does feel laundry-ish. I'm glad I live in Rhode Island, Tennessee isn't. Well, the problem with Tennessee is there is a lot, and I mean a lot of very high profile active cases. I think there's at least 4, 5 active, big active cases in Tennessee right now, like really high profile, and none of them are solved. None. So I don't know what's going on with Tennessee. I pray to God in heaven that they find Sebastian, you know, and all of the missing, of course. But we'll have to see. Um, what is it? There we go. Here they are parked. They're parked here, and they're fairly close out front in the campground. You can almost see it. I think you can see it from the road for sure. Why would they want to be here whenever their son, they say, walked out the door without his shoes, without a coat, 26 degrees? Is it possible? Yes. Is it probable? In my opinion, no. But we have to remember the law enforcement did say that they were working with TBI. Now, another thing. Katie took a lie detector test. And remember how days ago I told you Chris flipped a switch, like he was mad, allegedly, that she took that lie detector test. Remember? Chris has not taken a lie detector test. He has not taken a lie detector test at all. You know what he says? You know what he says? Yep. Remember, Allie? Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Remember, he was on that interview and they asked Duchess, I think it was Duchess, she asked, "Hey, did y'all take a lie detector test?" He said, "Passed." Not I passed, not we passed, just passed. And then he was asked again. And then it was, "Oh, I didn't say who. I didn't say what." He did not take a lie detector test. And he is claiming that the reason has not been he says, has not been asked to take a lie detector test because he says they didn't ask him because they know his location. Now, obviously, authorities aren't going to tell us that, but I don't buy that. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. Word salad, red flag. His phone's location and the contradicting hit dogs. Yeah. There's a lot to this, to say the least. But they are shacked up with Yogi Bear right now. I guess Chris's mom went to the house. I don't know, maybe to feed the dogs. I don't know if they took the dogs or not, or do whatever, check on the house. We'll have to see. But he did not, and as you can see, an Infinity. There we go, which she drives and vacation it up. It's what it seems like. They have time to go to, these bike openings. And now they're just sitting 3.5 hours south of where their child went missing. What if Sebastian came back? What if he was knocking at the door? I mean, Chris, what if he knocks at the door? Katie? I don't know. I don't know. Now, this is very interesting as well. Did they leave a note? I don't know. I mean, Chris was the one that spanked Sebastian for simply forgetting a belt. Forgetting a belt. One thing that they say all the time is, come back, you're not in trouble. You're not in trouble. The Proudfoots know he won't be coming back home, so that's what I mean. That's the way it's feeling, to be honest with you. What about the three-way call? Now Chris says he called. I don't know what you mean by that, Ellie. Now, there was supposedly a three-way call into the sheriff's office, from what I understand. Now, I've read that you can't call 911, which they did not call 911. They called the sheriff's office. I guess a non-emergency number. So there's that. I've never heard of anyone in my entire life of calling 911 on three-way. In my opinion only, they wanted to make sure they were hearing the same thing. They was on the same path, right? When they were calling. Call won't be recorded. The call will probably be recorded. They'll most likely be recorded. I mean, even, when you call, you know, anywhere anymore, it's like this call may be monitored or recorded, right? Betty says, oh, that would actually make sense, because if he's in Memphis, if he called 911, it would get, yes, operator. Yeah. Yeah. But why call three-way? Why call three-way? Why would anyone call three-way? I mean, they say they were on the phone with each other for 3 hours. I don't buy that. I don't buy that. Hopefully, they will be able to know. I mean, just because you leave a phone sat somewhere for 3 hours, for instance, and you pretend like you're talking, but no one's on the other phone because maybe someone's driving like a bat out of hell to get back. I don't know, but remember, phones have sensors in them. They have sensors, right? We learned this with the Murdaugh case. So they will probably be able to say whether this phone was moving in any type of direction during the time of that 3 hours. Don't forget that. Technology tells on us. Technology tells on us. So just remember, if it's sitting in one spot for 3 hours with no movement, that's a red flag. Big red flag. Yep. We're getting ready to play it. 1 second, we're going to play Nancy. In 1 second. Okay. So there's that. Now, JLR put, I am told the trash in the Proudfoots neighborhood goes to the landfill in, is it Gallatin, Tennessee? The trash for the construction area right behind the Proudfoots house goes to a landfill in Kentucky where authorities searched. Remember, a dog got a scent at the construction area, then it vanished. This is likely how they got the warrant for the Kentucky landfill. Where is Sebastian Rogers? Isn't that interesting? Huh. Isn't that interesting? Don says he was on three-way too, didn't he? No, he said that Don said he was on the phone with Candace through Facebook Messenger call for the entire way of the duration of where he traveled. So remember how they said that the dog tracked to the houses right behind the back of the home. Remember that? Well, remember there's huge dumpsters. Construction dumpsters are humongous. Very big, very long, very wide. And the construction goes to Kentucky, which is where they were searching the landfill. We all kind of thought, damn, that's a long way to, it's in a different state. They're searching, this landfill in Kentucky. Why? Why are they searching this landfill in Kentucky? This could be why. Also, allegedly, the trash that was at the home where they lived was supposedly very, very heavy. And what was that comment? The Gallatin plant crushes the trash, or used to. Wow. Like compacts it. They knew what they were getting ready to have to pay. A lot of people has brought that up, Tracy. A lot of people has put that up. You know what I mean? So that's interesting. One of the neighbors wrote, excuse me, I live in the neighborhood. I wanted to confirm a couple of things I have seen posted today. One, I received a message on Thursday to watch their house as there could be law enforcement headed to the house. Where my house is located, I could not see the front of their house, but I have a clear view of the entrance into our neighborhood and into Stafford Court. I also have friends over there that I reached out to. As we all began to watch, I began to notice random SUV driving up Kelly Lynn or Lane rather, uh, turned around in the Devon Court cul-de-sac, go back down Kelly Lane, turned on Stafford Court, then left. This happened several times. I noticed at least 5 plus SUVs doing this over a 30-minute period to an hour time span. It was very odd. I had a feeling something was up. I confirmed with the neighbors that at least 2 of these vehicles were, in fact, undercover agents. Now, how they know that, I don't know unless they talk to someone. I was told 2 stopped at the house and went in. They are definitely surveilling them and what it feels like the entire neighborhood. I can also confirm Chris hooked up his camper up to the truck this afternoon and left. Katie followed him. I have no idea where they went. As of 2 hours ago, neither have returned. Well, we know where they are now. We know where they are now. Now, remember, we were talking about it last night that 2 agents were at the Proudfoot home and then they went back to the neighbors behind the Proudfoot home, which I'm guessing is the neighbors that had the flashlight video, if you will. So there's that. It would be very risky. Oh, and also the lights are on now. The lights are on, but nobody's home. Nobody's home. Seems like when they leave, the lights go on. But by gosh, whenever they're at home, lights are off. Imagine that. Interesting, isn't it? Interesting. Katie also says that she does not have a security system in her home. Now, someone that works for a security company doesn't have a security system in a nice home like she has? Who's getting a late pass? Oh, guys, I'm sorry. I missed so many of these. I apologize. True crime housewife didn't want to call 911 because Seth uh I think he might hear it and come running before they're ready. Didn't want to call 911 because Seth might hear it and come before they're ready. Seeing they waited until he was off work to call him. Didn't want to call 911 because Seth might hear it and come running before they were ready. I don't what you mean, babe. I don't know what you mean. He might come running where? And running before who's ready. Seeing they waited until he was off work to call him. I'm sorry, I don't know what you mean, my love. I apologize. Amy, thank you so much for gifting a membership. If you was the one that received that membership, please thank our sweet Amy. Appreciate you, my dear. All right. Um, Seth works in a different county. Well, Seth is currently, his job is in the air, and you know, I don't want to see anyone lose their job or their livelihood or anything. Let things happen as they happen. But I don't know why his job is up in the air. Not Seth. Chris. I apologize, y'all. Chris's job is up in the air. And, I don't know why his job is up in the air. Yeah, done a lot of praying for Seth. He's constantly thinking about him. And he's got to be worn out, tired, exhausted beyond mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, all the above, and probably then some. They need your prayers. They need your prayers. Kelly, thank you so much for becoming a member, my dear. I appreciate you. Rachel, thank you so much, my friend. Appreciate you as well. Thank you so much. Okay. So there's that. Um, Now, guys, this is a big one. What we're gonna another thing that we're gonna talk about. I'm gonna show you. There's photos, actually. Um, but first, I want to tell you about this. This is Todd from the Cajun search group. Repost rally for Sebastian. Location announced. Attention. The rumors about people being turned away is partially true. The people being turned away by law enforcement and UNC are not following the request. 1. No live streaming for search. 2. No picture taking of volunteer search. Dogs and vehicles unless given consent. 3. No alcohol or drugs. Several media people showed up smelling like a weed factory and drinking alcohol. Everyone must check in and give their license information and vehicle plate information. All of this must be up to date. Anyone with a warrant or legal issue will be escorted to a local law enforcement office. Everyone must follow the search term grid pattern. We know everyone wants information as soon as possible, and we want to assist getting the information out. However, everyone must follow the search rules. Private property and permissions needed to be respected. So, um, I don't, I'm just delivering the message. Y'all take it how you want. Uh, there's that. Now, this is a um we need to read this. We need to read this. Um Let me see this. 1 second, y'all. I need to ask something about this real quick. Is guidance in here? I need to check something before. I got no problem with the green. I wouldn't show up to a search with it though. Yeah, I mean that's a little much, right? Dolly said earlier he has not smoked and knows Tennessee is an illegal state, so they aren't talking about him. 1 second. Hey, Miss Curvy. Guys, if y'all haven't hit that thumbs up button, please hit that thumbs up button. I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. Mean a lot to me. Um, all right, so this right here, someone says I submitted a Freedom of Information Act request for Katie and Seth's divorce, expecting it to say Katie's. Okay, not this. All right, we'll go over this one in just a little bit. We're gonna go to the other one in just a second. Dolly Vision went to the bowling alley to help search and got told to leave by people with the UCN. WTF is going on? Edit. Seth is on the way up there to clear it up. Now, the thing that I hate most about this is whatever anyone does, please don't. Let's all, doesn't matter what side, we should all be on one side, and that is for Sebastian. We need to keep Seth's, as not stress him out as much as, he's already stressed out enough. So that's just the main thing about that. Okay. All right. So let's go watch the Nancy Grace that just dropped. Are y'all ready? You ready, Freddies? All right. Credit goes to Crime Stories with Nancy Grace. And link is in the description for the full, without commentary. But let's start. Here we go. 1 second. Let me know if y'all can hear it. I need to put a little bit of music.
February
Slightly.
26th,
Let me know if it's too loud.
Monday morning, 6 a.m.
Can y'all hear that?
From everything.
Could y'all hear that? Let me know if y'all could hear that. Okay.
We can tell that is the moment that Sebastian's mom and stepdad realize he's gone. For just one moment, imagine that. You go in your child's room where you find your child every single school day morning and you wake them up, but at 6
Is the music too loud?
he's not there. Can you imagine what must have gone through their minds? First of all, I want you to hear what his bio mom, Katie Proudfoot, says. Listen.
Sebastian Rogers' mother, Katie Proudfoot, spoke with WSMV and explained exactly what happened the morning she found her son missing.
When I woke him up for school, he wasn't there.
That reminds me of Candace Wells. She was just gone. When I woke him up for school, he wasn't there. That's it. Well, obviously. But can you give us a little bit more?
I took a second and walked through the house looking for him in case he'd gotten up and was trying to get breakfast or something, because he did that sometimes. About 3 minutes in, give or take, I was on the phone with my husband. I said, I can't find him.
Wasn't it 3 minutes in one interview and then it was a little bit longer in the other interview?
He said, what do you mean you can't find him? I said, he's not in the house.
Can't find him. Where is he? And in the last days, we learned that the official law enforcement search is actually scaling back. This as TikTokers and YouTubers are flooding the area, conducting their own searches. Listen to Eric Craddock, Chief Deputy, Sumner County Sheriff's.
Really wanted to come to the community and ask for your help. We need you to search your properties every day, morning and night. If there's a shed or a crawl space or up under your mobile home or a tarp that's in your yard, check it every morning and check it every night. Look for any details that something has been disturbed. If there's a shirt that was there today that wasn't there yesterday, notify us. You can really help us by searching your own property twice a day. Like I said, we're operating under the assumption that Sebastian walked off, and we really need your help to ensure that he is brought home safe.
We are trying to determine what happened when this young boy, an autistic young boy,
They join here in a second.
seemingly walks out of his own home in the middle of the night, we think barefoot. How did that happen?
I don't think it did personally, in my opinion. I don't know about you, but I don't think it happened.
I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. Thank you for being with us here at Crime Stories and on Sirius XM 111. We've read a lot online. We've seen a lot of theories, a lot of speculation. But let's start with what we know to be true. Joining me right now, an all-star panel. But first, I'm going to go to two special guests joining us.
Here we
Katie
go.
And Chris Proudfoot. This is Sebastian's biological mother and his stepfather, who were in their home with Sebastian when he goes missing.
So Nancy's a little bit confused in the beginning because she thinks that they were both together, or maybe she's not confused. Maybe she just wanted to, say that.
To both of the Proudfoots, thank you for being with us.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for being with us. I want to go straight back to when Sebastian goes missing. Miss Proudfoot, I understand that the day before, which would have been Sunday, if I've got the information correct, that you guys went out, you went to dinner, you went to somewhere, I believe you said BJ's, where he had a, quote, colossal popcorn.
Yes, ma'am.
Then you came.
It sounds like a fun day, right? Sounds like they had all kinds of fun that day. Absolutely so much fun. Popcorn and gummy bears and gumdrops and all of that. Right? I don't know. It's weird.
Came home that night, and around 9 p.m., you tell Sebastian to go to bed. He says, okay, and goes to his room. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
That night, I understand from previous statements you've made that you went to bed around midnight. Is that correct?
It is.
And to you, Mr. Proudfoot, Chris Proudfoot, did you also go to bed at midnight or before or after?
Do you hear her?
We went to bed around the same time as we were on the phone together.
Please excuse any of my questions. I'm simply trying to find out more about that night. Do you two sleep in the same bedroom?
He wasn't actually in the home at all that weekend. Christopher wasn't.
You were not home.
No, ma'am.
Okay. So
Do you put a 1 in chat? There's no right answer, just your opinion. A 1 in chat if you believe that Chris was home, and a 2 in chat if you don't believe Chris is home, and a 3 in chat if you're unsure. There's no right or wrong answer. No right or wrong answer. It's just an opinion. One, 2, 3. Interesting. Okay. That's cool. That's very cool. Thank you for answering.
where were you, Mr. Proudfoot?
I was in Memphis, Tennessee.
How far away is that?
3 hours and 37 minutes from doorstep to doorstep.
And what were you doing in Memphis?
Working.
Where do you work?
I'm currently working, or was working, at the St. Jude Children's Hospital construction project.
Yes, I'm very familiar with St. Jude's. You said you were working there. Are you no longer working there?
Right now, that's up in the air.
See, he says up in the air. It's all up in the air. Now, regardless, I do hope that, you know, he's able to work. I mean, everyone deserves to make money while they're whatever is going on, you know. So I don't fault him on that.
Well, you've been gone ever since Sebastian went missing, so I understand. When you are home, do you two sleep in the same bedroom?
Yes, ma'am.
Is this a 3-bedroom home?
Yes, ma'am.
Where is your room as it relates to Sebastian's room?
It's on the opposite end of the house. The master bedroom's on one side, and the other 2 bedrooms are on the other side of the house.
Okay, so Your master bedroom is on one side of the house and Sebastian's room is on the other side of the house. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, you have a third bedroom that I believe you keep for your other daughter. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
The one that you did not want her around, little Sebastian, why not? That's my question. Why? Why? Why would you not want Sebastian around your daughter?
Is that Faith? Is your other daughter named Faith?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So where is Faith's bedroom as it relates to Sebastian's bedroom?
It's in the back side of the house. Sebastian's bedroom's in the front side of the house.
Okay. So his bedroom is away from Faith's bedroom and away from your master bedroom. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Is Sebastian's room on a top floor or a ground level?
We have a ranch style house. It's a 1.5 story. So everything's flat, and then you have the bonus room above the garage.
Okay. So his is on ground floor, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. That morning, was there any sign of a break-in through a window, a front door, a back door, a sliding glass door, anything at all?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
No sign of forced entry. He had to have at least locked the door leaving. And he decided to leave without his shoes, but he locked the door. And it's 26 degrees. He didn't take a coat, just the clothes on his back. And there's nothing of him. There's him going in. We see him and Katie go in that evening. We see Sebastian come out with the trash. And then he goes back inside. And then lights go off. They talk on the phone for 3 hours. And that's it. That's it. You never see Sebastian on any camera again. Really. It's funny, not funny, but it's interesting how we see him coming in. We see him going to the trash, but we don't see him any other time. So interesting to me, if you ask me.
Okay. No sign of forced entry. Was anything taken from the home at all?
Not that we could find anything. We couldn't find anything missing.
I want to circle back to Sebastian's shoes regarding if anything was missing. Do you have a burglar alarm?
No, ma'am.
Do you have a Ring doorbell cam?
No, ma'am.
So she works for a security company, and their $250,000 home has no security system. That will also lower your insurance rates as well. And you don't have a Ring doorbell.
Okay. Have the two of you taken a polygraph?
I have.
I have not.
Okay. We got that's big right there. That's big right there. First of all, I wish there's one question going back to that. I wish Nancy would have asked. Do they have a surveillance system? Because they do have a surveillance system. That's the one question. I do wish she would have asked that. But, we always forget something out of every interview we do. So there's that. Now, she says she took a polygraph. He does not. Now, listen to him, how he's going to explain this.
Would you be willing to?
I've offered and volunteered on many occasions to take a polygraph, and I was told directly by law enforcement because of my whereabouts, I did not need one.
I'm sorry. I'm just not buying that. I'm just not
Ms.
buying
Proudfoot,
that.
did you pass your polygraph?
I did.
Those questions out of the way. Was Faith in the home when Sebastian went missing?
No.
No, ma'am.
Does anyone else have a key to your home beside your immediate family?
No.
No, ma'am.
That night, Miss Proudfoot, at midnight when you went to bed, what did you do?
No, they have said that they are cleared. What they said, they have been vetted and cleared. Their words.
Until midnight.
That's
I
their word, not
had
mine.
been reading a chapter that I needed to, and I had been talking to my husband on the phone. I was falling asleep on him, so that's when he told me it was around midnight. He told me to go ahead and put the dogs up and go to bed.
Who talks to their husband for 3 hours every night on the phone? I'm just saying. Now she was reading, yes. Yes, now she's reading. Next, it's going to be Little House on the Prairie. Oh my God.
And that's what I did. I got up, put the dogs where they sleep, and then I myself went to bed.
Where do they sleep?
They have a big pen.
So she told Sebastian, her son, to go to bed, and she put the dogs to sleep where they belong.
A pen, is it inside or outside?
Inside.
Inside. That reminds me of another question. Do you guys have a motion sensor light or lights on the outside of your house?
Yes, we do have lights on the outside of our house.
Did they activate that night?
They're not motion censored. We have lights, but they're not motion censored.
Yes,
Were they on that night?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Were they on that night? So the lights were out the whole night?
Yes, ma'am. We don't typically turn the floodlights on.
but they're on right now. They don't turn them on, but they're on right now, right?
Were there any lights outside the house on at all?
Just my little solar lights that we have in the garden.
There's two lights on the side of the house above the garage that are on at all times.
Oh yeah, those are on.
Oh, there's a light above the garage that's on at all times?
There's two, yes.
This is my opinion. There may have been two lights on at all times. I think he said that, in my opinion, only my opinion. I don't want to force anyone to believe anything, but I think he said that because he knows he left those lights on when they left yesterday.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so those lights were on?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. The reason I'm asking is because I heard you say earlier, Mr. Proudfoot, that your neighbors have been very, very forthcoming with the
Because she says, oh, just our little lights, and he's like, oh no, there's this. Chris, yeah. He jumps in. And he's like, oh, and she's like, oh yeah. Oh yeah, those. Can't forget those.
their Ring camera info.
Yes, ma'am.
And I was trying to determine if any lights were on, what, if anything, they may have caught. But I understand from your previous interviews that nothing of any evidentiary value was caught. And also, in another statement you gave, I understand that the video of the two flashlights, and I'm saying that with air quotes, that's not exactly what that was at all. We now don't believe that two flashlights were observed around your home. Is that correct?
You're
Yes.
very correct.
Okay. Question.
And Nancy's not saying that. She's asking them, is that correct? He is saying that those are not flashlights. And he said that they're not flashlights, but I can't talk about them because even though they're not relevant to the investigation, I can't speak about that. Amy in Boston, Mr. Chris, Siri doesn't sound so tough now, does she? Thank you.
And regarding your vehicles, Ms. Proudfoot, what make and model do you drive?
Thank you,
I
Summers
drive
Army.
a
Thank you, my love.
Infinity SUV.
Year?
We just saw that,
2017.
didn't we?
And sir, what do you drive?
I drive a diesel truck, Chevrolet.
Year?
I don't remember off the top of my head. I think it's a 2021. I think.
So your Infinity SUV was parked in the garage or outside the garage that night, Miss Proudfoot?
In the garage.
In the garage. And Mr. Proudfoot, your vehicle was on location in Memphis. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So there's only one car at the home. Is that right?
There was actually a work vehicle in the driveway at the time as well, but it hasn't moved.
Now, the work vehicle they're talking about is her work van. That's what they're talking about, the work van. Wasn't the parents just driving the Infinity SUV? I think it's a different Infinity. They're both SUVs, but I don't know if they're the same color or not. I need to check that. They may both have Infinities. So that's what I'm thinking.
We can't give out that information because we don't have permission from her work.
I don't understand that. What?
About the make and model of the vehicle.
I have a work van that was also parked in the driveway.
Why is that? If it's out in the driveway where people can see it, why is that privileged?
So this had to happen on Sunday evening or night, like later. It had to happen like most likely after 6 p.m., 9 p.m., 12, 3 a.m. on Monday morning, because there is video of Sebastian coming out of the house taking the trash out, which is what Chris and Katie say that his chore is to do.
Information.
We just don't have permission from her company to divulge that information.
Have you asked?
No, ma'am, we have not. Nobody's asked us that question, to be honest with you.
Okay, so you have a work van. Question to you.
That's a
Ms.
HIPAA
Proudfoot,
violation
what do you
for
do
a
for a
van.
living?
I am an installation technician.
That night,
Now listen to that. She says installation technician. She just says installation technician. I think that's very interesting. Not security installation technician. She doesn't want you to know she's a security installation technician. She just wants you to know she's an installation technician. She could be installing, I don't know, baked beans in cans. I don't know. She just installs stuff. Yeah. Installs. That's it. She installs security cameras. Security systems. I mean, that's like, I don't know.
was the work van blocking your driveway? Could someone go in and out of your driveway?
The van is parked at the back of my driveway, so someone can pull in, yes.
Got it. Do you park your Infinity SUV in the garage or outside the garage?
In the garage.
In the garage. Do you have an automatic garage door?
With the clicker.
Right. Do you leave that up or down at night?
Down.
Could anybody lift it up? Like, is there an on and off button outside, or do you have to know a code or have the clicker to open it?
You'd have to know the code or have the clicker.
Does Sebastian know the code?
Not to the garage door, but
Very good point. Did she multitask a book chapter and talk for 3 hours and she was falling asleep at the same time? Right? Good question.
to the man doors.
Not to the garage door, but to the
The
house
regular
doors?
door, yes.
So is there a code to get in your home, or do you use a regular key?
There's a code.
And he knows that code.
Yes, ma'am.
Question. I'm just trying to figure out
He knows all the
how he would
codes.
have gotten out, or if somebody came into the home. Could they?
He knows all the he knows how to get in. Right? He knows absolutely how to get in. She said that.
They have gotten through the garage door? No, unless they know the code or had the clicker, which they did not. Do you lock your doors at night?
Yes, ma'am.
Could he have left on his own through those doors?
He could. Yes, ma'am.
But I heard in another interview where Mr. Proudfoot said he was not a, quote, wanderer. He didn't wander
Not a
around. He
runner.
never left the home before on
He's
his
not
own.
a runner.
Is that right?
Correct. We haven't had issues with him running or taking off in the past.
Okay, let me ask you a couple of questions regarding the doors. Do you have any home surveillance,
Oh, here she
anything
goes.
at all
Yes,
that
that's
would
it.
have given us an idea or a clue if the door had been opened or not, or a window?
Not directly from our house.
Well, then from
Hold on. She's got a camera right there. I mean, you know something? Listen. I think she's a technician. She's a technician. She could have been unscrewing those cameras at 3 a.m., allegedly. Right? She can pop them in and pop them out quick, right? It's a possibility. Here. Take this black box with you. Take this black box with you. Pull in line.
from where?
That's what we were hoping, that neighborhood ring cameras and may have picked something up.
So she's got a, her son who is.
Impromptu now, wherever you live.
On deadline, think friends. There's GA.
You go to bed at midnight after you've been talking to Mr. Proudfoot on the phone. You put the dogs away in a cage, a crate inside the home, and you go to bed. Did you check on Sebastian at that time?
I did not.
Okay. Do you normally?
Not typically.
Thank you, JB. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, my friend. And thank you, Summers Army, too, by the way. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Very kind of y'all. Thank you for your support. It means a lot. All right. Let's get back to this.
Since he's gotten older, I've not been checking on him as frequently throughout the night because normally he's good to go in his room once he goes to bed.
Earlier, you had stated you heard a noise in his room before you went to bed. What time was that?
Around 10 o'clock.
10 p.m. What did it sound like?
Just a thud.
A thud.
Oh, now it's a thud. Now it's a thud. Just a thud. Now it's a thud. It was, you could just hear him in there, in his room, making sounds in his room. Now it's a thud. What the thud? Thud. New info. Now she hears a thud. Now listen, you hear a thud. You and your child, particularly women, are in your house alone at 10 o'clock at night. Your special needs child, any child for that matter. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? There you go. You're going to go look. I don't hear anything, and I go look multiple times a night. You work for a security company, and you don't have a damn camera. Don't have anything of safety measures. But you know what's interesting? The company that she works for does the digital doorknobs. I know because I have one from my security company. And it's amazing how she's got the digital doorknobs. in my opinion, I bet you, I know they're from a security company. You can buy them other places as well. What the thud? But she's there reading and talking to Chris for 3 hours. Here's a thud. Don't worry about it. I heard a thud. He'll be fine. Now it's a thud.
You stated that you said, look, I don't care what you're doing in there, go to bed. Is that right?
I was on the couch, which is near his room, and I said, Bubba, did you fall out of the bed? And he said, no, ma'am. And I said, well,
what? Hold on.
Well, whatever you're doing.
We're backing this up.
You stated that you said, look, I don't care what you're doing in there, go to bed. Is that right?
I was on the couch, which is near his room, and I said, Bubba, did you fall out of the bed? And he said, no, ma'am. And I said, well, whatever you're doing in there, knock it off and go to sleep.
So you heard his voice at 10 p.m.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh my. What? A whole thudding conversation. Now it's a conversation. Not, I just put him to bed and woke up the next morning and he's gone. A whole thudding conversation now. Yes, ma'am. Oh my God.
Do you have any idea what the sound actually was?
I do not know.
If he were to go out his window, what would he step on?
Mulch and bushes.
Got it. Has he ever gone out the window before?
No, ma'am.
So he falls out the window, he's going to land on a bush and mulch in his bare feet. You're going to break a bush being 106 pounds. None of that. Not a footstep.
Is his home,
No.
is his room on the front of the house or the back of the house?
Front.
Front. Do any of your neighbors' ring cams point toward your house? Could they pick that up?
They do, but it's so dark that they can only see after it gets so dark at night, they can only see certain things.
I thought there were the two lights on.
On the opposite side of the house.
Okay.
You would have to pop the screen. Very good point. Very good point. We're going to look at that house again. If those lights are on, he's going to have to go left or right. If he's in the front of the house, he's going to have to go left or right. Oh,
Can we talk about
my
Sebastian's
God.
shoes? Why are you convinced Sebastian left without shoes on? Or are you?
Well, the reason that came about is because all of his shoes are accounted for inside the house still.
Are you positive?
I'm positive.
How do you know what clothes he was wearing?
The clothes that we described are the ones I saw him in when he went to bed.
That morning, you
hold on. What'd you say there? Hold on.
woke up at 6.
Well, the reason that came about is because
Hold on.
on the opposite side of the house.
Okay.
Gotta check something.
Can we talk about Sebastian's shoes? Why are you convinced Sebastian left without shoes on?
Here we go.
Or are you?
Well, the reason that came about is because all of his shoes are accounted for inside the house still.
Are you positive?
I'm positive.
How do you know what clothes he was wearing?
The clothes that we described are the ones I saw him in when he went to bed.
That morning, you woke up at 6 o'clock. Is that the normal time?
The clothes that we described. The clothes that we described is what he was wearing when I went to bed.
What time you wake up?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a heavy sleeper?
Off and on.
Do you take any medication at night that would make you sleep?
No, ma'am.
but you heard nothing.
I did not know.
So we know he is alive and well at 10 p.m. At 6 a.m. he's gone. You say he's never left before, is that right?
Correct. He's never run off before.
And could I confirm, where was his bio dad at the time he went missing?
I believe he was at work in Nashville.
Had there been any family argument or altercation?
Right. He goes to, that's a good point. I've never even thought of that. Thank you, chat. He goes to bed in his just regular clothes. Leakage. Leaking like a sieve right now. He goes to bed in just his regular clothes? Wow. The day that he wore this clothing to BJ's and everything else, he wears nope, and nope again.
Prior to him going missing?
No, ma'am.
And Mr. Proudfoot, when did you leave town?
Early February.
So you had been gone for days before he went missing, is that correct?
Correct, ma'am.
Had you visited home since you left?
You said from when I initially left?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. I came home February 26th, the morning I was told that he was missing.
From the time that you left for the job in Memphis to February 26th, did you visit the home?
Yes, ma'am.
When?
I was home. I can't give exact dates.
Oh, imagine
law
that.
enforcement has told me not to provide exact dates.
Why would law enforcement tell you not to provide exact dates? Why would law enforcement tell you to say that? They want you to tell the truth. There is why they wouldn't. They will not tell you nothing
But
that
I
they
had been
would
home
tell
multiple
us.
times prior to
Period.
February. And then I left early February and then didn't come back till February 26th, the morning he was missing.
So you were not home from the time you left early February till Feb 26, is that right?
Correct, man.
Where were you living in Memphis?
I have an RV trailer that I stay in at an RV park.
RV park, okay. Following back up on that morning, you search the home, Ms. Proudfoot, then you get in your vehicle and you start searching.
Yes.
Did Sebastian know how to drive?
No, ma'am.
Was your car in the same location when you woke up that morning as it was the night before?
Yes, ma'am.
Has your car been searched by police?
Multiple times. Yes, ma'am.
Have scent dogs looked at your car?
Yes, ma'am.
So your car's in the same place, you get in the car.
Multiple times. That's interesting. Her car has been searched multiple times. I know the house has been searched allegedly at least 10 or 11 times. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That's a HIPAA violation, ma'am.
Get in the car, you start looking in the neighborhood for him. Is that right?
Unbelievable.
Yes, ma'am.
Then you call Mr. Proudfoot, right?
I believe I was already on the phone with him at that point.
You believe?
Okay. Question: who called 911?
I did.
You did.
Yes, ma'am.
What time?
Without looking at a call log, I can't give you the exact time, but on or about 6:20.
And had you guys been talking on the phone before 6 a.m. or did you initially call Mr. Proudfoot at the time you realized Sebastian was gone?
I called him when I realized Sebastian was gone.
Have you guys been out looking for Sebastian?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
We were given
What?
information that you guys have left the home. Is that true?
Yes, ma'am.
Why?
I'm going back to work.
You're going back to work. What about you, Miss Proudfoot?
And I'm not going back to work. Not yet, at least.
Did you leave the home also, Miss Proudfoot?
Yes, ma'am.
Why?
To accompany my husband going back to work, and then I'm coming back.
Okay, when will you be back? Do you know yet?
No, not yet.
Are you concerned about being away while the search is ongoing?
Absolutely, I am.
Then why are
Oh.
you going?
Because my son could be anywhere, and we're looking everywhere and anywhere.
Please. Oh my God. Are you if he's at work, he's making money. Somebody can be at home. Don't you think? Don't you think? Fishing, drinking, chili. Smiley says. Hold on. Puff Daddy was just arrested? I'm telling you, shit's getting real. I'm done. I'm telling you, I'm done. This is ridiculous.
I've got a question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
I want to find out about Mr. Proudfoot hitting Sebastian with a belt.
That was actually several years ago, and it was
To Mr. Proudfoot. To Mr.
Tell him, Nancy. Get him. Get him, Nancy.
Proudfoot. To Mr. Proudfoot.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Proudfoot, what happened?
Oh, I'm sorry. I misunderstood. I thought you were asking Katie.
Mhm.
Sebastian had gotten in trouble. He got caught lying. And I had asked him, I said, hey, you got to have a punishment for this. He says, yes, sir. And I said, okay. So I gave him a swat with a belt on his buttocks on the outside of his clothes. One swat.
What did he lie about?
I honestly don't remember at the time, but it was.
You don't remember? Because you certainly remembered the other day. And several years ago. Whack! I remember what you said.
There's probably something dealing with school because that's the majority where his issues lie.
Did he have other issues at school?
Some behavioral stuff, but nothing too crazy.
What kind of behavioral stuff?
He has a hard time. He's awkwardly socially,
Lolo, that's why.
like, blending in with students. So it's a little. He's trying to figure out how to do it, but respecting people's space. He gets a little too close, and then kids don't really accept that too much. So it kind of causes an issue. But he'll not stop, and he continues on. So then it causes an issue, and instead of being honest about it, he'll lie. Like, no, I didn't. Okay, Sebastian.
That just ran cold chills down me. When he said, no, I didn't, like a kid. That's really bad. Blaming Sebastian. Listen to that.
That causes an issue. But he'll not stop, and he continues on. So then it causes an issue, and instead of being honest about it, he'll lie. Like, no, I didn't. Okay, Sebastian.
Blaming him. This kid didn't have a fucking chance with him, in my opinion. That, ugh. Like, no, I didn't. Okay, Sebastian. No, I didn't. Okay, Sebastian. I think so, Hazel. I really do.
causes an issue. But he'll not stop and he continues on. So then it causes an issue. And instead of being honest about it, he'll lie like, no, I didn't. Okay, Sebastian.
Or lying about doing work.
Was that the first time? Was that the first time you had ever hit him with a belt?
So I want to say something. That just shows you the way he talked in like a child's voice. In my opinion, how sweet and childlike Sebastian really was. Because truthfully, honestly, the people who have, that are born with the way that they are, which we call special needs, they're God's people. They are special human beings. And all he wanted was friends. That's all he wanted. And all he got was a fucking monster. In my opinion.
Yes, ma'am. The one and only time, actually.
When was this?
Years ago, ma'am.
Any idea how many?
I need to rewind that 1 second.
Doing work.
Was that the first time? Was that the first time you had ever hit him with a belt?
Yes, ma'am. The one and only time, actually.
When was this?
Years ago, ma'am.
Any idea how many? 3, 10, 1?
It probably at least 3 years ago.
I don't understand.
Do you believe that's the one time he forgot, or he hit Sebastian? Put a 1 in the chat if that is the only time you think he ever hit Sebastian. Put a 2 in the chat if you think he did it more. Because I can just about damn guarantee you, in my opinion at least, that a kid does more than just forgetting a belt. Sebastian has done more in the 6 or 7 years that he has been with Chris than just forgot a belt. He's done worse, right? He's acted out, right, at a time or two. All kids act out at times. But you whipped him for a freaking forgetting a belt. But that's the only time. Just the one time. Just that time. Seth, please do an interview with me. Please. Please.
Understand how that turned into a CPS or Child Protective Services complaint. How were they alerted that you hit him with a belt?
That did not turn into a CPS service call.
There were other CPS reports, right? Were they regarding your other child?
There is one in regards to my daughter that I know of out in New Mexico with my ex-wife and myself.
What happened?
At the time, my ex-wife had fled to New Mexico with my daughter. We're going through a custody and a divorce case at that time. And at the time, when I'd call and try to check in on my daughter, I could never reach my ex-wife at that time. So a welfare check was requested.
Baby kisses. The one is that you don't believe he was ever hit more. And 2 was that you do believe, in your opinion, that he was hit more.
Law enforcement told me to call CPS if I had concerns. So I called CPS. Law enforcement did make a welfare call, and that was it.
Then how does that turn into a CPS complaint against you?
I have no idea, ma'am. There's a lot of misinformation out there right now in regards to my New Mexico case that actually has no relevance to the Sebastian case.
Then was there even a CPS complaint against you?
Not that I am aware of. And my attorney and myself have well educated on my case, and there's nothing that we know of.
Was there a TRO taken out against you regarding
Yes, ma'am.
your daughter?
Not a TRO, but a TPO.
A temporary protective order. Why was that taken out?
So in regards to that case, my ex-wife had a TPO put against her in Tennessee at the time. When we went to court, that got dissolved. I was ordered to hand my daughter back over to my ex-wife at the time.
He had to hand his daughter over. Interesting.
She gets in a truck. She fleds to New Mexico. 2 days later, she files one in retaliation.
Is it still in place?
No, ma'am. That was dropped within, I think, 2 weeks of it being put in place.
I got a question about the belt incident. You're telling me that was the only time that you ever hit Sebastian with the belt?
She's not
Yes,
buying
ma'am.
it.
And you're also telling me that did not make it to CPS?
No, ma'am. That did not.
She's not, in my opinion, she's not buying it. I don't believe Nancy is buying this.
Yes, ma'am.
Regarding Faith's
Absolutely
furniture.
don't believe she's buying it.
Yes,
A
ma'am.
few days after Sebastian goes missing, did you replace furniture in Faith's room?
No, ma'am. I have not replaced any furniture in my daughter's room.
Is there any new furniture in the home?
Yes, ma'am. There's a bed that was given to me, and it's currently in my garage.
Has anything been
Oh, there's a bed. I needed to know if that was confirmed or not. God bless you, Nancy. Thank you. Thank you. She knew the answer to this. Oh, so there's a brand new bed. Son of a... Oh my God. We're going to replay that. Listen. Bombshell tonight. Nonsense channel is streaming me. Let me check. How would they stream me? What's their channel called? Nonsense? Oh, I think it's that. Let me check. They must be a little channel. Can somebody send me the link to their channel? All right, we're getting back to this. We're not going to let that. Let's go back to this.
has been taken out of the home?
No, ma'am.
I was curious about a statement.
Go back a little
I
bit
have
more.
not replaced any furniture in my daughter's room.
Is there any new furniture in the home?
Yes, ma'am. There's a bed that was given to me, and it's currently in my garage.
Okay. So, right after the time, I am confused about Chris saying the belt incident turned into a CPS case. No, he's saying it did not turn into a CPS case. I see you. Not turning. There's music playing, Grandma, because we have to use fair use. Replace. Can you believe this? You're muted.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is insane. This is like insane.
Yeah. And I was just listening to 2 times. Wait, I'm just flabbergasted. Let me fix my camera.
Oh my God. This is absolutely insane.
I'm hearing a lot of inconsistencies, and then I'm getting the feeling that Nancy is asking questions that she already knows the answers to.
Yeah, she is. She knows. Yeah. But where's okay. So the time that Sebastian goes missing and the time to where we're at now, not only is all of this happening, going on, he walks out the door without shoes. He locks the door on the way behind him. He doesn't take anything but a flashlight, but there's flashlights outside that we see, but Chris doesn't want to talk about it. They don't have cameras, but she works for a security place.
It doesn't
Yeah.
make any sense. And
All of this is
plus,
yeah, go ahead.
who knows if she could have controlled the cameras on her phone too?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, she's a tech. She puts them in and out of her home,
Yeah.
in homes every day.
Yeah. And I just I'm still trying to digest what I just heard because I was listening to 2 times, catching up because I got a phone call on the way home. And
Crazy.
holy guacamole.
All right, let's continue.
Has anything been taken out of the home?
No, ma'am.
I was curious about a statement that Miss Proudfoot made earlier that canine dogs hit on the barn around the home and near a retention pond. Did that happen?
I'm not sure about the barn, but the retention pond, yes.
Because law enforcement says the dogs did not hit,
There's been
but Miss Proudfoot says they did hit around the retention pond.
So there's been a lot of miscommunication in regards to what is and what is not. To help clear that up, law enforcement has actually spoken directly with me, showed me a few things. What I can tell you is from day one, there was 5 dogs that started the scent for the search. And then after that, from the next 8 days out from that, there have been dogs from all over the country that have come in,
Get to
and
the
done
point,
searches
Chris.
and had scent hits in various locations. But I would say a certain percentage of them tend to go toward the same spot, which would have been a retention pond.
So the law enforcement dogs did not hit on the retention pond. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying they did. There was at least 3 that I know for a fact that did hit on the retention pond.
And the pond has been drained, correct? And there was nothing there.
Yes, ma'am. They have walked it, drained it, and there's nothing. The retention pond was only knee deep anyways.
So he's saying that there's the retention pond out there.
Is that near the construction site that he also said they hit at? He likes to drag out his
On one
answers so you
occasion,
forget
Mr.
what you're
Proudfoot,
questioning.
you stated
Yes.
that
He likes
you and Mrs. Proudfoot have
Play.
been, quote, vetted and cleared of foul play.
There we go.
That
Go,
was
Nancy.
stated on Chronicles of Olivia. Is that true? What do you mean by that?
So after working with law enforcement of all agencies, they have actually told us that there is no foul play, no nefarious issues. We've been cleared of all wrongdoing. We are working extremely cooperative with all law enforcement agencies. At any point in time that they've called, come to the house, anything.
Was Sebastian angry or upset before he disappeared?
No, ma'am.
Not to my knowledge.
What is your theory about where is Sebastian?
I wish I knew where he was, to be honest.
Your theory.
I think it's possible that someone has my son,
Why?
because I feel like if he had been close to the house or had walked off, that we would found him by now with as many people as we had searching.
Have you checked his social media?
He doesn't have social media.
Have you checked his phone?
His phone has been thoroughly checked. Yes, ma'am.
Have you handed your phones to police, both of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, we have.
Has police searched all of your devices, your laptop, your iPad, everything?
Everything. Yes, ma'am.
Other than you, Miss Proudfoot, who is the last person that saw or heard Sebastian alive the Sunday before he went missing?
Two of his aunts, a cousin, and the staff where we had dinner.
And that was at BJ's the night before or the bowling alley?
So BJ's, and then we went to the bowling alley, and then after the bowling alley, we went to dinner before coming home.
I want to follow up again on the dogs hitting. Earlier, Ms. Proudfoot had stated the dogs hit around the house, the barn, and at the retention pond. Is that correct?
I don't know about the barn, but I do know that they did track to the pond, yes.
They're so nervous. You can tell that they're nervous. You can tell they're nervous.
100%.
Because when I get nervous, well, I mean, when I get nervous, I go blah, 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 blah.
I think we
know.
all do.
So,
In
but
some
you can just
form.
tell that they're very nervous, which, could be either way. But you've never seen Chris like this, right? He's usually, I'm brash, I'm arrogant,
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's, this is different. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am.
He's trying to
Blah,
stay
blah, blah,
calm
blah.
but that did catch me as if Sebastian said yes ma'am to her. I understand on manners, but that's the first time I've heard her refer to him, and it was yes ma'am. You know what I mean? Like, and then Mr. Chris. It makes me go back to the Mr. Chris on
She
how
said-
they addressed him.
Yeah, she's like, I don't know anything about the blonde or the bond.
Yeah, I was
or the
thinking
bond.
bar too. Barn. She likes to drink, apparently. So we heard.
Most would.
Did the dogs also hit around the house?
Yes, ma'am.
On the outside of the house?
Yes, ma'am.
Were they scent dogs or cadaver dogs?
They brought in both cadaver and tracking dogs.
Which
Mhm.
dog hit? A cadaver dog or a scent dog?
Scent dog.
It's all been scent dogs that have hit. The cadaver dogs have not hit on anything that we know of.
What do you believe Sebastian was wearing when he disappeared? And would that have been what he slept in?
Yes. So the clothes, the black sweatpants with the white stripes and the long sleeve black shirt, that is what he went to bed in. And the reason that I believe he was still wearing those clothes is because when we searched, I did not find those clothes in the house. So I have to assume that that's what he was still wearing.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. Did you say that's what he wore when he went to bed?
Yes, ma'am.
Joining us right now, in addition
Hold
to
on.
Katie
Can you pause that for a second?
Sure, absolutely.
So that's what he wore when he went to bed. Her process of elimination is that's what's missing from his closet. Make that make sense.
Say that again.
She said that's the outfit that she could not find in the closet. That's how she figured that's what he was wearing. That's why Nancy retracted and went back and asked, wait, didn't you say he wore that to bed? She stumbled right
good
there.
Point. That's a very good point. Let's replay that one.
But and Chris
I believe he was still wearing those.
wearing when he disappeared. And would that have been what he slept in?
Yes. So the clothes, the black sweatpants with the white stripes and the long sleeve black shirt, that is what he went to bed in. And the reason that I believe he was still wearing those clothes is because when we searched, I did not find those clothes in the house. So I have to assume that that's what he was still wearing.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. Did you say that's what he wore when he went to bed?
Yes, ma'am.
Joining us right now, in addition to
She said she
Katie
couldn't
Proudfoot
hear.
She
and Chris
questioned that for a
Proudfoot,
reason.
the bio mom.
Yeah, she questioned that for a reason. Yeah. She'll be like, I can't hear. What did you say? Excuse me.
That's the bed, right? You
That's
didn't just
that's
tell
a
me you
way
just-
of not challenging a person, just to get him to say it again to confirm it.
Yep, except for she wanted to reiterate that She searched for those clothes. That was the only clothes that was missing.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Interesting.
But I've been watching
Mom and
Nancy.
stepdad of Sebastian, an all-star panel. First to Brian Trasher joining us, Vice President of the Cajun Navy, who has joined.
All right, so the Cajun Navy is on there. This is going to be interesting. Very, very interesting.
So is this their first interaction
The
if they're
search.
on
Brian,
together?
thank you for being with us. Who asked you to join the search?
Oh,
Well,
what'd you say? I'm sorry.
So this would be their first interaction if they're on together. I'm assuming.
Who's on together?
Cajun Navy and Kristen, Katie,
Uh,
unless she's jumping between interviews.
They were probably filmed differently, different times. Maybe. I don't know.
Curious to see.
we had
We'll
deployed
see.
a team up to Nashville, Tennessee last week in response to the missing college student Riley Strain. And we stayed up there until he was found. While we were in the area, we had a lot of people reaching out to us on social media saying that there was a young boy who had been missing for several weeks that was only about 20 miles away from where we were. So we talked to a few people, got some information, and decided to deploy part of our team that was already up there to Sumter County to investigate and see what we could do to help out.
You went on your own. Were you asked to join?
We were asked to join. I'm not sure specifically who some of our people talk to, but we get requests all the time, and we'll reach out. We'll try to get either a family member
So
or
many
a
red
friend of
flags.
the family, just so we
Yes.
know we're talking to people connected to the family. And somebody had reached out and asked us to join since we already had assets so close to Sumner County.
Tell me what you have been doing, Brian Trasher. Everyone with me, the VP of the Cajun Navy, who has joined in the search. Brian, tell me what you guys have been doing.
So we've had a canine, our own canine team who is already participating in the search for Riley Strain.
Yeah, Pickletoe's grandma. We went there yesterday or day before yesterday, and they said there was nothing on March 1st. They didn't even have a flyer of Sebastian.
Up there searching around. We've talked with the lead investigator with Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, Agent Simmons. We've talked a lot with him and trying to coordinate efforts, because we always try to coordinate with law enforcement, make sure we're not getting in the way, duplicating efforts, or putting out any conflicting information.
You know what, Mr. Trasher, let me just cut the chase
yeah.
here. Isn't it true that this weekend, pursuant to your search, that cadaver dogs hit in an area that had been closed off because of a prior hurricane, and it is on federal property? Bones and other items were found at that time. I found that very odd, as it would relate to Sebastian, even if it was.
Now, had that been closed quite a while? Does anyone know?
Since the tornado, when was the tornado, chat? I want to say it was in the fall.
Yeah, I remember when they were having those bad storms.
December.
And would
That's
he
what I
have
thought.
known it would have been closed off?
Yep.
That's interesting.
Because it's a
That's very
national
interesting.
park. And that's crossed my mind before. Especially with the hurricanes down here. You know when a national park is closed due to
Right.
damage. It's all
That's
over the
interesting.
news.
That's interesting. Oh, this place is closed, so I'll be clear.
And could potentially explain the arms. That's just my speculation.
There are tire marks going up to the mound of dirt.
Yeah, Justin has that picture.
Yeah, but I don't think that picture. I think it's been too long for those tire marks to still be there. My opinion. So I personally don't buy much into the.
And Sebastian, his body would not have been skeletonized at this time. Can you tell me now that what was found over the weekend is not connected to Sebastian? Yes, no.
No,
Not connected to Sebastian.
that's correct. That hit was not connected to Sebastian.
Joining me also, in addition to Brian Trasher, who has been leading.
I wonder if they found someone else. I swear. that one is not. He's like, that one is not.
I saw
Hold on.
speculation on it.
How do you know that, Wanda?
That's what I heard on one of the Facebook group posts. I'll find it for you. But I didn't see any confirmation. I just saw that it was a homeless person.
Spanish homeless person? One pet. Yeah, they can. Noah. It was someone else? Oh, you'll hear it. Okay, I'll get it playing.
Leading the Cajun Navy in its search for Sebastian. Hold on, Brian. Other than those hits, have there been any other dog hits in and around the home or elsewhere?
Not from our canine team.
I'm very concerned, Brian, as you can imagine, because LE law enforcement has stated there were no canine hits outside the home, which I find very disturbing. Because if he had gone outside, particularly barefoot, there would definitely have been a scent trail. Now, we're hearing from the Proudfoots that there was a hit around that retention pond. How far is that pond from your home, Mr. Proudfoot?
Less than probably half a mile if you walk the whole path.
How did the person bury themselves?
Is it through wooded area? Would he have had to walk through the woods to get there?
No, ma'am. You can actually walk either the main road or the subdivision. So the construction site is a subdivision, new addition that's being built, and they have a road that's going to be tied into our subdivision. So you could actually.
Well, everyone should care if it's a homeless person. I mean, that's kind of a rude thing to say. Someone said a homeless person, who cares? That's terrible. Every life is a human life. That's crazy.
Yep, they all have souls. Everybody has a soul. And I'm more curious of how they buried themselves.
You don't bury yourself.
Exactly.
That's sad. People say stuff like that. It's terrible.
Walk up that way, or you could walk to the main road and walk into.
Did Sebastian ever sleepwalk?
No, ma'am.
So he would have had to leave the house undetected by Katie and walk all the way to that retention pond. Did the dogs follow the trail a half a mile?
Yes, ma'am.
They followed the trail all the way to that retention pond?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
That's very curious, as they are saying the dogs didn't pick anything up. Back to you, Brian Trasher. Did you guys search anywhere other than that federal property where the false positive was? Yes, no?
No.
Joining me is Courtney Lasky, high-profile behavior analyst,
Interesting.
autism expert, chief clinical officer with Little Starts Therapy. Courtney, thank you for being with us. At this juncture, we know Sebastian to be most likely with people he doesn't know, if in fact he is still alive. How would that affect a young boy with autism?
It would affect him greatly. Based on the diagnosis of autism, we know that they typically have deficits with communication, social skills, and they display some rigid and repetitive behaviors. If in fact he is with someone else who does not know him well, that would be entirely out of his routine. He could be engaging in behaviors he hasn't engaged in before. He could be looking for an escape. He could be looking to get out of those aversive situations. We know that not every autistic individual will wander.
You know, I think this did not do them any good whatsoever. This interview, it did them no good. That's why, Chris, you should come up here and let me interview you. My opinion. You said you was going to come up.
It's zero good because we're finding a lot of inconsistencies.
But
GPS with the belt.
This is really bad.
Crimes, yes. Typically, the younger they are, they're more attracted to the water. As they get older, they learn to not as be attracted to go into the water or towards the water. It's a learning. As long as they're educated and have the right resources. But it is known to be attracted to children with autism are attracted to water. Sorry, Justin.
No, you're good.
Exactly, Crimes. That's what I'm feeling.
Those who do wander, 36%, it's to get out of an aversive situation. It's to get away from something that's overwhelming or overstimulating to them.
Miss Proudfoot, does he know your phone number? Can he call you?
I mean, we got new bedding in the garage. We got new furniture. Where did you get this furniture? And why was the trash extra heavy? I bet you they got that. I bet you that's why they went to that dumpster to get that trash. Right?
I agree.
Remember, it was extra heavy. Took 2 of them to load it. And it was a weird shape. And I bet you they dumped every one of those to CSI.
The brain to it.
Yeah, where's the old mattress at? Could you tell us? Could you tell us, please? Please tell us. Please tell us. Go ahead. There you go. Tell us. Come on.
The mic is all yours, Chris.
I know you're watching, Chris.
You if he could get access to a phone.
We have gone over my phone number. I don't know that in a high stress time he would remember it, but yes, I have taught him my phone number.
Okay. Was he ever allowed to go visit friends' homes?
He didn't get invited, but had he been, yes, we have had play dates in the past.
Would he go there on foot?
No, ma'am.
Background here.
Follow Impromptu now.
Of the Crew Call podcast.
Friends. There's GAs.
Fast forward to this.
Bastion's home and that retention pond.
Well, look, Nancy, I mean, I think like everything else about this case, it is very confusing.
Bingo. Certainly is. Or they're trying to make it confusing. That's what they're trying to do. Hold on one second. It's the wheel's spinning, but the hamster's dead.
Because the public hasn't heard much from the police. We haven't heard much from the Proudfoots, obviously, when it comes to that, or Seth Rogers. And now I'm learning a lot here as I hear Chris Proudfoot say, okay, we can't speak about this because of law enforcement. And now with the Cajun Navy coming in, I think a lot of us are very excited that they are going to basically canvass this road. And they are actually telling civilians to hang back. Nobody needs to search this anymore. You need to stop. You need to stop helping and let us work with.
Yes, there is music playing in the background. I have to do that because of fair use.
With law enforcement and take over. Now, I called the Sumner County Sheriff's Office yesterday because of all the misinformation going around. And I gotta be honest with you, they didn't even know what was going on with this road, with the recreation search. They were either very elusive or they were very confused. But either way, it's very concerning because the people, and as well as myself, I don't live in Tennessee. I cover a lot of Tennessee. We are very concerned for Sebastian. We are very concerned. And
okay,
so
let me just stop you right there, Miss Conlon. Miss Conlon, everyone is concerned. But let me remind everyone that law enforcement is under no duty at all to tell us or anybody else, including the Proudfoots, anything. They are not representing the Proudfoots. They are representing justice. And they will do what they have to do. The fact that they're not giving us a blow by blow is their business. Does it mean they're stymied? I don't know. Does it mean they know more than we think they do? I don't know the answer to that. But just because they're not releasing an ongoing investigative file is not a concern to me. At this juncture, I am collecting facts in the best way I know how. Now, regarding that route from the Proudfoot home to the retention pond, is it your understanding, Lauren Conlon, that there were no hits by scent or cadaver dogs along that route?
Correct, Nancy. It is my understanding there were no hits from the dogs.
It is very confusing. It's confusing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes, Lauren, when we try to put together a puzzle, but we're missing a few pieces and we don't know what piece we're missing, you can't put the puzzle together. We're missing things from this puzzle. And right now, I'm on a fact-finding mission. I am pointing the finger at no one.
Come on.
Because I want to find Sebastian.
Absolutely.
I want to go to Dr. Jory Crossan joining me. And guys, again, please, Proudfoots, Trasher, Lasky, Conlon, jump in if you have a thought or you want to contribute.
The Proudfoots are still there. They're still in the interview. Okay. That's why. Because she wants to get more information out of them. They're going to become defensive and if she doesn't.
She doesn't want him to shut up.
Yep. That makes sense now.
This is where her lawyer
a lot of
skills
this is
kick in.
elusive. We don't know everything.
Exactly.
To you, Jory Crossan, joining us, former law enforcement, now faculty, St. Leo University, very well-known psychologist and author of Operation SOS. You can find him at drjory.com. Dr. Jory, thank you for being with us. Many people have made much of the fact that when interviewed, the Proudfoots do not look at the camera, they look away, they don't cry, and they don't seem upset. Now, that...
Yes, they're both ex-military. Both of them are. Yeah.
May or may not mean anything. People can be very upset, crying, screaming, cursing. They may show no emotion at all. They may be numb by the time interviews are happening. I'm very different.
Or they may be, going out and watching Harley Davidsons. But they really weren't.
When I talk about my fiance's murder,
I
or
wonder
I
where they
talk about
went.
my dad's death, I still cry, even when I swear I'm not going to. But everyone reacts differently. What do you make of it?
I can see that the numbing, that effect of, it's kind of like a defense mechanism to help you process cognitively, the events. Under those circumstances, it doesn't alarm me at all. I mean, I have experienced that type of trauma and stress. I've seen that in other people that I have actually interviewed as a law enforcement officer and a psychologist. So,
hold on just a second to Jory Crossan. Dr. Jory, you're cutting out on me. I'm going to throw this directly to Mr. and Mrs. Proudfoot. Much has been made. I'll ask you. You very often look away, don't look at who's asking you questions, show no emotion. Much has been made of that. And I'd like to hear your response. I'm not judging one way or the other. I'd like to hear your response.
So the fact of not looking at the camera all the time is because a picture of my son is sitting beside me, and I'm looking at him. As far as the crying thing, I have been crying off and on nonstop for a month.
Many people have asked me, why did Miss Proudfoot not call 911 immediately? And here's your chance to answer that.
Because by the time I realized my son was missing and I called my husband, at that point I was hysterical.
I don't fault her for not calling 911. I know a lot of people do, but I mean, some of us would, will call her husband, hey, what's, did they go to, they go to their dads? Did they do this? Did they do that?
Still, the question that's concerning to me is they didn't call 911. They called the sheriff's department, the non-emergency. How many times now? Because I ran a restaurant, I had the non-emergency on speed dial on my phone. But how many in chat? Press a 1 if you have non-emergency in your phone. Press a 2 if you don't. No? Who would call non-emergency instead of 911? How do you have that number saved? Are you Googling it? Do they have it saved in their phone?
No, they would have.
There's so many different scenarios.
I don't have it.
I have it just because of restaurant, my industry before. But it, like what? Even though it's out of district, you still call. Do you have it memorized? Do you have to look it up? So you have to sit back and search that number instead of just calling straight up 911? Just a thought.
That's something. Yeah, you call 911 and get transferred. I've just never heard of a 3-way call.
Yeah. That too.
It just
and on top of it, searching for the sheriff number.
Right.
So are you on the phone and Googling at the same time?
They would have to. Oh my God, I'm going to have to Google this number. And you're freaking out at this point. You're freaking out, right?
Exactly. That's why the scenario doesn't fit in my head like that. You just imagine, unless you have it planned to call them, but if not, your brain just goes directly to 911. That's just me, though. I'm trying to think of how I would, in my shoes.
Right.
The scenario of how did you get to that number? Even though it's out of district. In emergencies, you still mentally, your mind is 911. It's instilled in you as soon as you can talk. Right. It's not the sheriff's line.
Let me call 911. Let me just call 911. I need to call. Call you back. Bye.
Instead of a 3-way to the sheriff's department. I'm just stumped on that part.
Breaking news, you can call anyone from 911 from anywhere from the United States. Yeah.
Yeah. And even if your phone's off.
Yeah.
Turned off.
It's your kid.
Service-wise.
Direct call to the sheriff's office. Yeah. Which is what I think Don and Candace did too. We don't got a 911 call from them.
Right. But if you're in a panic mode searching for your son, do you really think to Google for the sheriff's office, or do you think to call 911?
You can barely think of 911 at that point.
That's my point.
Yeah.
You're too frantic to find that number. You just do memory at that point, 911. That's just what I'm thinking. What got them? I'm just trying to think of the scenario. When you're in a frantic moment as she's explaining it.
Yes.
Your brain automatically is 911. But that's just me.
No, you're right. So I'm wondering, I don't know. I'll have to think about that.
I was at the point where I couldn't even form words anymore, and my husband is the one who remained calm enough to call them.
And to be honest with you, Miss Grace, the way we live outside of city limits, so you don't call 911 because you get routed to a dispatching hub who asks what's your location, and then they route you to another dispatcher to talk to.
Hold up.
Yeah.
That's
Bullshit.
a crock of BS. Because either way, it still went over to that dispatcher station that you even played last night.
Right. Regardless. Yeah. Regardless, it's
just
regardless. It has to go to the dispatcher. It
100%,
does not
and
make sense.
you played it last night. That does not. That's just a load of bull to me.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah. It absolutely is. Yep. Wow. Trying to explain things away. Yeah. The problem is when you try to explain something that doesn't make sense, it makes you look so much worse because you can't explain anything that's nonsense.
And Mohawk Mom is correct. All 911 calls get sent to a hub, then they connect.
Yes.
It's correct. It's down to district and divided up to each jurisdiction, whether it's the county, the city, or the state. But it's the scenario of calling the sheriff's department when 911 could have done that right then, especially when it's a missing minor. I just don't understand that theory. Because your brain's just not thinking at that point.
I mean, didn't she say she got in her car at one point and searched?
Yep. And that drove me nuts too. She said that on Olivia's interview, that she got out of the car and searched for 20 minutes, chat? And
Something
then
like that.
she didn't say that in any of the other interviews. That was placed in there. Which, I mean, sometimes memories do come back, but how do you... I'm just thinking of a scenario. If you think of when you're in a panic mode, an emergency.
Yeah, she can drive, but she's too upset to call 911. Right.
I'm just trying to think of the whole scenario of the story she's trying to say and make it make sense.
Well, you can't.
Exactly.
In my opinion, at least, you can't.
Because, like I've said, I have the non-emergency on speed dial, and I have 911 instilled in my brain. When my child's airway swelled because of his scar tissue in his throat, I could barely even dial 911.
Right. I can't.
I'm just thinking of the scenarios of how she's projecting her story and trying to make it connect. And then have them come up here and answer.
She is a projector, is what she is. A TV projector. You can drive and talk to your man, just not the police. Good point, 1-800. Yeah. You can drive and talk to your man, but you can't drive and talk to the police. Make it make sense. It
doesn't.
Nope. Okay.
To give this story, I cut all of that out and I called straight to the sheriff's department because they have jurisdiction of where we live. So sorry that I decided to bypass a few steps and go straight to the source, where they responded within 10 minutes of the phone call being made.
Miss Proudfoot, that evening, were you drinking?
No, ma'am.
Had you used any type of drug at all, even OTC, over the counter?
No, ma'am.
Jason, bingo. I heard that too.
What?
Jason. Sebastian's biological father said that he was with the mother. She was a drunk and a violent drunk and abusive. I've heard that as well.
Allegedly, yep.
Allegedly, yes. I've heard from people.
And you had no argument with Sebastian that night?
No, ma'am.
You stated you put the dogs away.
That answer, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. You can barely hear her. You can barely hear her.
Away into a crate before you went to bed. Is the crate located near the exit, near a door?
No, ma'am.
Would the dogs have barked if there had been an intruder or if Sebastian had left?
The dogs don't typically bark at me and Sebastian because they're used to us. Even if we get up, we come around, they don't typically bark. Strangers, they do tend to bark, at least for a minute or two to get attention. But no, ma'am, they don't typically bark at Sebastian and myself or Christopher when he's home.
What kind of dogs are they?
Morkies.
Question.
Oh.
Where is their crate located?
In
Uh-huh.
So she's leading them into where the dogs go at night. And if they barked, because if somebody took Sebastian, they would have obviously barked. I'm curious to what she has to say.
If there was a dog, if there was a human being, a stranger outside, and Sebastian was opening up a window, opening up a door, those dogs would bark. They would absolutely bark. They're Morkies. That's all they do is yap. An ant can fart and they'll yap. That's just what they do.
Yeah, he walked out.
In the sunroom.
Yeah. Thud, no barking. Thud, don't go check on it. Unbelievable.
Over by the kitchen.
In your son's... Okay, hold on.
No, son.
Is
not son.
it outside your son's room?
No, ma'am. Not Sebastian's
room.
Son, yeah. Yes, ma'am.
The son room. And that's not near the door?
No, ma'am.
Not near the front door.
It's near my back door, but not any of the other doors.
Yes, from what I've seen the layout of the home, it is near the back door, and they would have heard.
And the
someone
camera's
coming
at the
in and
front
out
door.
that back door, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
No barking. Do you have a chime or anything on your doors that would alert you to the door opening?
No, ma'am.
Miss Grace, could I jump in for something?
Yes, please. And I want to follow up with a question regarding Miss Proudfoot's polygraph. But please, Lauren, jump in. Everybody on the panel, now is the time to ask the Proudfoots any question that may shed light on what has happened to Sebastian. We are not in a judging arena. We are in a fact-finding arena. We can then assimilate the facts and make deductions. Please jump in. Lauren Conlon is joining me. You can find her at Lauren Emily Conlon. Go ahead.
Yes, thank you. And now this might be for Brian as well. Yesterday, when the dogs hit and everybody's going crazy, YouTubers, internet, TikTokers, and we figure out it's
I don't know why she said
Sebastian
yesterday.
and police are not involved, the TBI is not involved. Did you call the Proudfoots and let them know that this was not Sebastian? Did you tell them ahead of time that you were searching these areas? Did they know what you were doing, or was this specifically just through Seth Rogers?
Oh, I see why she said yesterday. Sorry.
Yeah, so Seth Rogers is Sebastian's biological father, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so he was there, and as Ms. Grace alluded to earlier, it would not have been typical or possibly even probable that he could have skeletonized after only a few weeks. So I'm not sure about the Proudfoots, but his father definitely did know. I also wanted to echo what Miss Nancy said earlier. about the police. One of the reasons we got called in, there was a lot of social media personalities reaching out to us, kind of complaining that they didn't feel like the police were doing enough. But really, it's just what Ms. Nancy said. It's that they're not under obligation to give daily or every other day updates. They are doing an investigation. We have been in very close contact with TBI, and I can tell everybody with 100% certainty, they are on top of it. They are not letting their foot off the gas at all on the search for Sebastian or trying to find out what happened to him. The YouTubers and TikTokers that do live stream probably do the most harm. We appreciate it.
So, Mohawk, where did the skeletons come in? I believe they found a homeless person, allegedly, from what people are saying. They found a homeless person where they were searching that was unalive.
The attention that they bring to things, but when you do a live stream, you don't have any control over what gets seen by potentially the entire world. So we would, we can't tell people what not to do. They have free speech. It's their own accounts they're using. Not helpful to do live streams during searches like that. If you want to do it, do a video that you can potentially edit later, so that we cut down on the amount of misinformation. That's why social media is not necessarily a house. We go in and do search and rescue. You have to trust the process, like we do. We trust law enforcement is going to have this wrapped up probably very soon.
Brian, however, I want to make sure that you are not encouraging.
That's very interesting. Didn't you hear that?
Yep. I wish we could have seen their face.
Boy, that's interesting. They're going to have this wrapped up very soon. And I still think, in my opinion, JLR was told right when they said stand down for a few days. I think something is going to happen soon.
And also, somebody made a good point on Twitter. Never heard them mention once that she is waiting for him to come home through this whole interview.
She's waiting for... Say that again?
You know how she was sitting at home waiting for Sebastian to come home? This whole interview, she didn't mention it once.
Absolutely, yeah.
And this was taped yesterday, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Citizen sleuths to stop looking, because I've had many cases where we put out the warning and they actually spot a missing person. I mean, I only have to point to Gabby Petito, whose remains were found in dispersed camping way out west by a citizen who had heard about the case. So, sometimes their information is wrong, but there is no way in HELL that I would ask them to stop.
We're not.
And
We don't.
I know that's not where you're headed.
No, we don't want them to stop. Matter of fact, it was two citizen sleuths that found Riley Strain's bank card out by the bank of the Cumberland River in Nashville. So, like I said, they do provide a service. My only suggestion was maybe not doing live stream, maybe just video.
It was sleuths who found Gabby Petito.
It's also what's making the story trend and stay out there.
Absolutely, that's the reason.
Hey guys, I don't want to see anything edited. I want to see the whole thing. No edits, no airbrushing, the real deal. But that's just me. I want to go back to Katie Proudfoot. This is Sebastian's biological mother, Miss Proudfoot. What questions were you asked during your polygraph?
I was asked if I knew where my son was. I was asked if I hurt him. I was asked if I had hurt someone, among a few other questions.
And Mr. Proudfoot, you have volunteered to take a poly?
Yes, ma'am.
If I were to set up a poly for you, would you take it?
Name the place and time, ma'am. I'll be there.
And you're headed back to Memphis right now. Are you in your RV right now?
I am in my RV. We are not disclosing our current location just because of safety reasons due to the
sorry, Chris. Sorry. You're at the same
YouTubers, the Facebookers out there that have sent some very heinous threatening information and things of that nature, threatening to be outside of our house, all kinds of nasty things. So we're not disclosing our location at this time, unless you're law enforcement or you need to know.
Ms. Proudfoot, is that one of the reasons you left the
For your
home?
me.
One of them, yes, ma'am.
Question to you guys.
Oh,
The police came in
please.
and
Don't-
processed your home.
Don't you blaming it on YouTubers? What's a YouTuber gonna do? Drive by and take a picture?
Sounding awfully familiar from a year ago.
Yeah. It's just ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Did they look with, for instance, luminol? Did they check? What did they do when they searched your home?
They thoroughly searched my home with many different things. They removed some things for the dogs to hold the scent, and for Sebastian's DNA. I know that they used thermal
Night imagery.
night vision, thank you. And I don't know exactly all of the tools that they used, but I do know that multiple different searches were done on my home by many different people, detectives, sheriffs, and a few others.
Yeah,
Even the dogs.
I wouldn't swear that the forensics folks showed up or not, because there were so many folks in and out of the house that it was just, hi, I'm so-and-so with law enforcement. I'm so-and-so with law enforcement. Okay.
Every time they've said we need to look, well, please do.
Does Sebastian have a hardwood floor or a carpeted floor?
In his bedroom, carpet.
Did they remove any carpeting?
No, ma'am.
Do you feel confident they searched his bathroom?
They did.
Yes, ma'am, they did.
When you state that they removed items for the scent dogs, what did they take?
Clothing, a blanket that he used like every day, and a few other items of his, toiletries, like his brush.
Lauren Collin joining us, investigative journalist. Lauren, again, thank you for being with us. And earlier you were hearing sound from WSMV4. I understand you have another question.
They did that with Gabby. Remember the brush? The past of the brush?
The what?
The laundries handed Gabby's toothbrush in an envelope through the door to the agents.
Yes.
They wanted his DNA.
Well, yeah. They were comparing it. Yep. Wow. This is a really sad case.
I guarantee they might have took his shoes too.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I guess I didn't quite get the clarity I wanted, in the sense that, did the Proudfoots know that this search was going on with the Cajun Navy? Were they being called? Were you guys being alerted about this? Did you hear from a YouTuber that they found something, that the the search dog started jumping? Or, were you just kind of blind to all of
hold
this?
on. I have a can you pause that real quick?
Yeah.
So Nancy, did she ask, I just want clarity. Did she say he has not taken a polygraph yet? And then
Yes.
if he's willing to, she will set it up?
Hold on, let's rewind.
She was offering to give him a polygraph.
No, ma'am. So here, to set.
Did you hear from a YouTuber that they found something, that the the search dog started jumping?
Is it before that or after
were
that?
You just kind of blind to all of this, just over in your corner doing your search?
No, ma'am. So here, to set that record straight and help the United Cajun Navy. So somebody's got a picture out there saying that we're enjoying a dinner when we're actually out there, got flyers.
Before that?
Yep.
I'm okay. I just ran up 3 flights of steps because.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. It's not you. Someone just asked if I was okay. I'm like.
I had a light bulb moment. I'm sorry. I was just thinking, she offered to give him a polygraph. So obviously he didn't have a polygraph, but on Facebook, there's screenshots.
BetMGM.
What?
on
ahead.
Facebook, he said that they both had polygraphs and have passed. There's screenshots everywhere of him stating that.
Admitted you didn't, but volunteered for a poly. He
But
didn't, but
right. That's what I'm trying to get clarification on, because on Facebook he was saying that he passed the polygraph. Remember? He said exactly yes, and the results are passed.
he said passed like that. But then he said, I didn't say, later on, he said, I didn't say who.
Exactly, but I have the screenshot of the post. Have you both taken polygraph tests? And if so, what were the results? Thank you. Yes, and the results are passed. Just asking. That's why. I'll send it to you right now.
Well, remember, Guidance, you know this, he allegedly threw a fit that she took.
She had it.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep.
I was thinking that too, Jason. What about that RV for evidence as well? Another laundry.
Oh, yeah.
Dirty laundry.
Yep.
Sorry about that.
Casino Online invites you to
1 second.
Your favorite table games,
Oh my
daily
God.
promotions, live dealers,
Why did
and
it
much
start
more
me
are
completely
subject to
over?
qualification and eligibility requirements.
You take it.
Name the place and time, ma'am. I'll be there.
Hold on.
Someone among a few other questions.
Here we go.
And Mr. Proudfoot, you have volunteered to take a poly.
Yes, ma'am.
If I were to set up a poly for you, would you take it?
Name the place and time, ma'am. I'll be there.
And you're headed back to Memphis right now. Are you in your RV right now?
I am in my RV. We are not disclosing our current location just because of safety reasons.
Okay. Good, Chris. Good. I'm certainly glad you're taking that polygraph.
Now, wasn't that asked before in another interview, or was it just in Facebook questioning?
Well, he's been
Smiley,
asked
did
many
you
times
ask?
if Duchess asked. I don't know if Smiley asked.
And what was his answer every time?
Passed. He's a stinking liar. There's been so many. I mean,
This just backs up what we're trying to prove and show.
I mean, I think he said that for face value right there. Name the time and place for the interview sake.
Mhm.
I don't think he will take it though. I hope he will.
No.
Either way, I'm really not. Either way, I'm not really too much on lie detector tests, but it's still, he threw a fit allegedly
Due to the YouTubers, the Facebookers out there that have sent some very heinous, threatening information and things of that nature, threatened to be outside of our house, all kinds of nasty things. So we're not disclosing.
Well, if someone threatens them, that's unacceptable. Nobody should be threatening
our location at this time, unless you're
them.
law enforcement or you need to know.
Ms.
And if
Proudfoot, is that
somebody-
one of the reasons you left?
If somebody threatens them, then they need to the Proudfoots need to turn that into law enforcement, because that's unacceptable as well. Nobody should be threatening anybody.
Left the home?
One of them, yes, ma'am.
Question to you guys. When police
One of
came
them.
in and processed your home, did they look with, for instance, luminol? Did they check? What did they do when they searched your home?
They thoroughly searched my home with many different things. They removed some things for the dogs to hold the scent, and for Sebastian's DNA. I know that they used thermal
Night imagery.
night vision, thank you. And I don't know exactly all of the tools that they used, but I do know that multiple different searches were done on my home by many different people, detectives, sheriffs.
I agree. It is what it is.
And a few others.
Yeah,
Even
I'm
the
not
dogs.
I wouldn't swear that the forensics folks showed up or not, because there were so many folks in and out of the house that it was just, hi, I'm so and so with law enforcement. I'm so and so with law enforcement. Okay.
Every time they've said we need to look, or please do.
Does Sebastian have a hardwood floor or a carpeted floor?
In his bedroom,
Carpet.
Did they remove any carpeting?
No, ma'am.
Do you feel confident they searched his bathroom?
They did.
Yes, ma'am, they did.
When you state that they removed items for the scent dogs, what did they take?
Clothing, a blanket that he used like every day, and a few other items of his, toiletries, like his brush.
Lauren Conlon joining us, investigative journalist. Lauren, again, thank you for being with us. And earlier
This is fascinating. This interview has just been
you were
off
hearing
the
sound from
rails.
WSMV4. I understand you have another question.
Oh, I mean, I guess I didn't quite get the clarity I wanted, in the sense that, did the Proudfoots know that this search was going on with the Cajun Navy? Were they being called? Were you guys being alerted about this? Did you hear from a YouTuber that they found something, that the the search dog started jumping? Or, were you just kind of blind to all of this? Just, over in your corner doing your search?
No, ma'am. So here, to set that record straight and help the United Cajun Navy. So somebody's got a picture out there saying that we are enjoying a dinner when we're actually out there flyers at a dinner table because we need to eat. My wife was on the phone with the Cajun Navy. That's how the Cajun Navy was brought in. And we talked to the president of the United Cajun Navy.
He's watching.
He put us in touch with their team that was here locally in Nashville. Then that young lady reached.
That didn't happen.
I guess he didn't listen to their press conference right before that.
He apparently didn't. He apparently didn't.
But pulls it on and watches all of YouTube.
Gave her some more details. Then they said they would start a search, but we also had them get in direct contact with the TBI agent as well as Sumter County's Sheriff's Department. We provided all that information. They reached out to them, got some information. They pushed outside of the areas that had been searched already, conducted a search. Somehow or another, they linked up with the bio father, who supposedly got a tip from somewhere. Whether or not it was credible or not, we don't know. But it led them to searching on federal property without permission, which is where we have been informed at some point that there was allegedly a hit on something, but turned out to be nothing. And they were asked to leave the property immediately, or the cops were going to be called because it was trespassing based off of a tip that the bio father received.
Yeah, to Brian Trasher, VP of Cajun Navy, let's clear it up. Isn't it true this is on federal property that had been closed off? It was a hurricane site earlier.
Tornado.
It was also, yes,
Tornado.
thank you. And it was also near railroad tracks, and some homeless people had been living there, and apparently one of them had died, and we believe that is what the dogs were hitting on. Is that correct?
Yeah, all the above is correct, and we did not gain access to the property. It had already been open when we got there. I'm not sure how entry was gained, but yeah, everything.
That just shows you that cadaver dogs and search dogs are right. Just shows you.
And Smiley, you got it right. You're worried about your safety, but you're not worried about your safety at the barbecue joint.
That was correct.
Guys, the search for Sebastian goes on. If you have information, if you know or think you know anything about this beautiful, young, autistic boy, please call TBI, Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, 800 TBI, FIND, T Tennessee, B Bureau, I Investigative. TBI FIND, 1-800-TBI FIND. That's 800-824-3463. Please join us in the search for Sebastian and lift up your prayers. This boy will be found.
Very good interview. Very good interview. Wow. There is so much there that is, how in the hell they are lying about so much. I mean,
Somebody made a good point of making a video of all the inconsistencies.
I'll work on it. Trust. I mean, in my opinion, they ditched a mattress. Why did they ditch a mattress? Why is there a
Maybe
new
because
mattress in a
when was it
garage?
purchased?
Yes, when was it?
And does it have anything to do with the thud?
Yeah, they hear a thud. Don't go check on your son.
Did the Cajun Navy just agree that the Proudfoots contacted them first? I don't think I heard them comment on that.
Why? Yeah, that's exactly. I believe. I agree. That's why the trash was heavier. I would agree with that. Will be found. Yeah, I think that they know more than they're telling us because he said, "I think this is going to be wrapped up soon." That's a big statement. In a weird state, or shape rather.
It seems like he was hinting to that last night too.
Hmm. Damn.
Hold on. Neighbors, where did chat's flying? The neighbors have video of them bringing in mattress in first few weeks of Sebastian gone missing.
I'll have to find. I'll see if we can find more on about that.
And Susanna said the Cajun Navy guy had to verify who Seth was. He's a liar.
That's crazy.
He said the bed was given to them.
Yeah. I mean, call me silly, but they don't look like the people that accept hand-me-downs. I mean, you're living in quarter or $750,000 home.
Yep.
Search was planned, and they had to sign a paper to search. The searchers found the mound, and the Cajun Navy weren't in the area. They had to be called in. Thank you for that, Bubble Beth.
So Susanna also said Flagg said that he was contacted by Seth and had not spoken to the Proudfoots.
Who wants to use mattress?
And didn't Chris say when he goes out, he goes all out? Wouldn't you assume that'd be for a bed too?
Say that again.
Chris, he says when he goes out, he goes all out. Wouldn't that be for a mattress too? Not just a snake?
Well, I mean, if his kid was going to be on that mattress, right?
Who said it was for the kid though?
Well, they said it was for one of the kids. I mean, one is their room. They have 3 bedrooms. One is their room, Sebastian's, and he said the other one was his daughter's. I don't know. It's crazy.
See, I was driving when that part was on. Mattress could have come from his family. He said for his daughter. A bed without a mattress is no good. That is true.
Something is up. Yeah, Chris was a lot less arrogant.
Yeah. He didn't point out that he's brash.
Yes. Didn't point that out. Because you know who can be more brash if she needs to be? Nancy.
Now, on Twitter, there is screenshots of their interview, their face. I heard she uploaded it to her YouTube channel too.
Yeah, it wasn't uploaded earlier, but it's probably by now. Subdued, yeah. Chris is wearing. Yeah, he probably was on that one. You probably both were.
Nothing was crystal clear either. 100%.
Yeah, you didn't make anything crystal clear. Yeah, that either. I'm calling it a day, guys. Thank you all so much. I appreciate you. He lied, they lied. Yeah. Yes, Lisa. Yeah. Thank you all for being here, guidance. Thank you for coming up.
No,
I
thank you for
appreciate
having me.
you. I just gotta take notes and comprehend this because it is a lot.
Yes. And I'm probably
Yeah.
going to replay it once we get off here.
Yeah, me too. All right, guys. Loves. Y'all have a good evening. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you. Bye-bye.